Oh, the sweet sound of my voice on a YouTube video yet again. Hi everybody, I'm sorry that it's been a few weeks since my last video, but I have been insanely busy with my studies. I am currently in my final semester at school, for those of you who don't know, and I'm double majoring, so it's kind of been difficult to balance my school life, as well as my business life here on YouTube and Etsy, as well as my personal life with family and friends. So I'm back for part 2 of the Amigurumi tutorial. So I will be finishing up the little bear. You thought that I was probably going to forget. So we started with the basic form of a ball last time on this channel, and now I'm going to show you how to do the head. Again, I have my worsted weight yarn here. I'm using a smaller hook than I did last time. This is a D hook, which is just going to really make a tight stitch, and it'll be nice and stiff for the whole project to be able to kind of stand up on its own. So I'm going to make the magic circle again. So remember how to do that, where you have the tail of the yarn here, and then you wrap the working end like so. So you have the working end on the left and the tail end on the right. And then you just yarn over, pull a loop through. I pulled through just like a chain, basically, to get it started. And then having both of these ends here, I'm going to crochet around that. So the magic circle is in the hat tutorial, which I can't remember the number, but you can find it in my channel when you search for like hat tutorial. So that's just 6. Pull it tight. And then join the front stitch and the back stitch together with a slip stitch. And then just chain 1 to get into the next row. And then you are going to single crochet 2 in every stitch around until there are 12 stitches in that round. This is just increasing in every stitch if you want to know the jargon. Just keep going around. To be honest, for the size of the bear that I'm making, 2 rounds might be large enough to get a decent sized head going. What I'll do is I'll slip stitch again to finish this round, like so. I'll bring the body back over, lay it on top. So this is kind of a tiny head, but it'll expand a little bit more once I stuff it and once I get a few more rows on. So I'm gonna just chain 1 again, go around in each stitch and single crochet 1, and each stitch around and around. So I just want to also say thank you guys for sticking around if you do watch this video. And I just want to let you know that next Friday I'm taking a pretty big test. It's called the Praxis, because I'm hoping to get my teacher's license. Because I'm going to start teaching in the fall, hopefully, if everything pans out. And so I probably won't have videos up next week. So it's just going to be extremely sporadic for the next few weeks until probably the summer, where I'll have another large amount of time where I can just devote to this. So here I am working a second row of single crochet. I'm going to do 1 more row after I join this row together. So here I am joining it. And if that tail end gets stuck in there, it's okay. It's not going to do anything really to harm your project. Alright, so I'm going to stop this here. And this is the point where I'm going to add the eyes. Just because I think it's important to do it early on while you don't have any stuffing in there, as well as when you haven't closed off this hole too much, because you really need to get in there. So I'm using pretty big eyes for this thing. It's probably going to look more like a monster than a bear. Let's be honest here. So I put one eye in through the stitch, and then I'm going to flip it inside out and take the backing here. And this is just going to snap right on the back here. And you want it really tight, especially if any children are going to be playing with this. You don't want them being able to pull the eye out and choking on it. It is a big hazard. If you are going to sell anything like this, definitely make sure that people know that it's a plastic safety eye. If it's not, like if it's just a bead, then you do not want to market it towards children. You can sew pieces of felt on, or if you want to use puff paint, you can do that. You can really adorn these any way that you want. So here's another eye, and I'm just going to snap it in place again. Alright, so you can see that you just have eyes right now. It almost looks like those little ghosts on Pac-Man. But not completely. So I'm going to continue now by decreasing over 2 stitches for the next 12 stitches. So that's just yarning over, bringing a loop through in the next 2 stitches, then yarning over, pulling through all loops on the hook. Again, all of these skills I've gone over in videos before, so make sure that you take a look at those if you really want to know how to do certain things like increasing, decreasing, binding off, etc. So that's always pretty quick when you only have 12. So I'm going to slip stitch in the next stitch. And I am going to pull the yarn through and actually cut it real quick. Because since we only have 6 stitches left, we'll be able to bind those off pretty easily. So I'm just going to take my batting now, or my fiber fill, and shove it in the head. It's a little difficult because it's not a very large hole. So it's just kind of forcing it all in there, making sure that it, doesn't pop out. Yeah, this is definitely a little monster, isn't it? Let's see. I think that's enough, honestly. And then what you're going to do is I actually found my tapestry needle. So this is a plastic one. They do come in metal. I prefer the metal ones just because they don't break as easily. I've broken a couple of plastic ones before, and I've, had to replace them. So I decided just to go with metal, but I cannot find my metal ones, so we're using plastic today. So if you look in here, you have your 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to go through the front loop of each of these with my needle. And don't worry about pulling a little bit of the fiber out. It happens. So you're going to have this view here, and then I'm going to just pull it tight so it just puckers right up there. And then once you have it in this stage, you're going to sew onto the body. I can actually probably remove this one here and pull it through into the body, since I'm going to be sewing using the string on the head. So you kind of want to line it up with the back, so you can see that here's the seam here, and then the seam in the back of the head will go right here. And then you just want to sew the head on pretty securely. You don't want it coming off after you've finished making it, because that can be a little traumatizing to a kid who rips the head off of stuffed animal. Maybe not that traumatic, but I think we've all had those experiences where we've broken a toy. So just alternate going in and out of the body and the head, making sure that it doesn't wiggle around too much. And then when you get to the other side, you can either go around once again, or you can just basically tie it off here, which I am going to do. Oh, I guess I'll use a crochet hook since that just came off of my needle. So just pull it through, and then kind of make a slip stitch. And then chop off most of the yarn there. And put your hook through, find another hole up near the yarn, and pull it into the body. Alright, so at this point you just have the basic shape of the body. You could add arms if you want, just by crocheting a few rows, and then sewing them on. You can do feet, you can do legs, you can pretty much do anything at this point. The purpose of this is to be really inventive with your crochet. You can honestly do anything that your skills and your imagination go with, you know, whatever you can do. And think of, as long as you have the skills to do it, you can make it. So make whatever you want. If you want to share them with me, go to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BenjaminKrudwig. You'll see a nice picture of my crochet work there. And you can also check me out on Etsy, which is etsy.com/BenjaminKrudwig or benjaminkrudwig.etsy.com. And follow me on Twitter, which is twitter.com/BenjaminKrudwig. The links are always in the description of the video, and I hope you enjoy, and I will be looking forward to seeing you again.